Hi, welcome to Battle Streams in Middle-earth. I'm your channel host, B-Sign Damian, and now for something completely different. Oh yes, got a new video. This is the first of these I've done, and this is a hobby vlog. So I'm going to have a bit of a ramble, but tell you what I'm up to, and hopefully take you on a bit of an exciting journey with me over the next 3 weeks. So, first things first, if you're on this channel, you're not used to this. You're used to seeing the fortnightly streams with me and Steve, and you're used to seeing the Fantasy Fellowship, although that has been on pause of late since I've had my daughter, but I'm hoping that will be back very, very soon. But as soon as we set this channel up, back just over a year ago, last August sometime, we always assumed that we would do hobby vlogs. I stopped doing my hobby vlogs on the GBHO podcast YouTube channel, and I always planned to bring them over here and kind of monitor that. And it's just something that's fallen by the wayside, to be honest. I had my second daughter this year, and something had to give, and it was that kind of hobby content for me is what fell by the wayside. So I always intended it, and so it's been nagging at me to kind of do some hobby vlog type stuff, and something exciting came up which made me want to do it, and that is that events at Warhammer World have started again, and it is currently, what's the date? Let me check this. It is Saturday the 13th? Saturday the 13th of November at the time of recording, and in 3 weeks' time, Warhammer World is hosting Battles in Middle-earth, I think it's called. Now, whilst it's called Battles in Middle-earth, it's Throne of Skulls. It's 1,000 points like Throne of Skulls. It's on the first week of December like Throne of Skulls, and the scoring system is exactly the same with Throne of Skulls, and the number of games. So I think they've called it something different because the capacity limit or something to do with that, but it is the Throne of Skulls. Now, humble brag moment, without, as some of you will know, I'm quite emotionally invested in Throne of Skulls, having won the last two Middle-earth Throne of Skulls in 2018 and 2019. It was cancelled in 2020. So it's it was one of my favourite events before that. It's incredibly special to me now, and when it got announced that it was coming back, I was like, yes, I have to do this. Now, I did have big plans in place for the 2020 event. And I'm not going to say too much about them because I kind of hope it will happen in the future, maybe for next year. But the event, let's just suffice to say, they involved hobbits. And when this tournament was announced, not long ago, 2 months before the event, I think it was, there was just no way I was going to get that done. So I had to chuck out all those plans. I had huge plans for an elaborate display board and the army and the theming and all that, and I had to chuck that out. Now, what I have been doing, and a large part of the reason I've been lucky enough to have success at Throne of Skulls is I've gone all out for this event. It's a wonderful event that encourages thematic play and silliness, and for the 2 years I've gone big on it, I have created a really thematic army. I've created a thematic display board for it. I've had custom dice made, and I've worn a silly costume, and so I wanted to kind of jump back full into that, and so my hobbits went out, and we are now 3 weeks out from the event, and I need to start work. I've decided what I was going to do a while back, and I want to tick all those boxes. So this vlog is going to be you coming on a journey with me over the next 3 weeks to see if I can get ready. I believe the last hobby style vlog I did on the GBHL was the time I failed to make a display board. I can't stress enough, I genuinely think what I'm about to suggest is impossible. I don't think I'm going to get it done at the moment, as you'll hopefully see why as I start going through it. But to hell with it. I want to have some fun with it, and I'm deliriously optimistic. So, with only, I had about 2 months after I secured my ticket, or 6 weeks or something, to pick an army and go, do something I could go all out on, which you can't really do with limited time as such. I decided to go with Ents. I'm going to go with Ents. I like Ents. at the start of the year I had no plans to do Ents. I thought maybe, we knew about the Treebeard model, I thought when he came out I might paint him, but thanks to Battle Streams in Middle-earth, I got stuck into some Ents. I did 2 of them on the streams. I did a plastic Ent, and I did Treebeard, and stunning new Treebeard sculpt, and then I went a bit mad, and I did 2 more Ents, and suddenly I think one was from the Made to Order from Warren Rohan I'd done, and I used my old metal Treebeard to convert an Ent. I suddenly had 4 Ents, and we were in lockdown, so I couldn't really do anything with them. And at the Scouring of Cheshire, which was a couple of weeks ago now, Steve's event, I decided to finally take my Ents to the table. So I painted up quick beams. I had 5 Ents, and they were great fun. I really enjoyed using them. And so the great thing about Ents, which makes them a good Throwing Skulls army, I think, is they're cool, they're fun to use. I think they're fun to play against. And they lend themselves to some nice kind of thematic gaming moments, and they're not very good, which makes them a perfect army for Throwing Skulls, where you don't want to go around and smash your opponent about. You want to kind of have fun with cool armies. So I decided to scale my army up. So as I said, I took it to Steve's event, which was 700 points, and getting the extra 300 was really easy. I took Treebeard, Quick Beam, and 3 Ents to Steve's event, and you need Beachbone and 2 more Ents to get you there. So there's no Beachbone model, so I need to convert a Beachbone, and I need to paint 2 more Ents, which was, is that right? No, I think I've miscounted. Sorry, I've got 5 Ents at the moment. That's it. That's important. I've got 5 Ents. I've got Treebeard, Quick Beam, and 3 painted, and to get up to 1,000 points, I need 2 more Ents. That's right. I need an extra plastic one and 1 to be Beachbone. So I need to convert a Beachbone and do 1 more, and that will give me a total of 7 Ents for the event. 4 normal Ents and the 3 heroes. So I needed to get 2 more Ents. So I gave my chum World Champion from 7th City Collectibles a knock. I got 2 more Ents. So one of these is going to be converted into Beachbone, and one of these is going to be converted into a slightly different Ent that I've got a very special plan for, that's related to the display board. So I've got to do those, which is fine. In terms of the display board, you got to keep it battle streams. Anyone who's followed the streams will know that when we went through this issue earlier in the year, like issue 32, the Merry Pippin one with all the Ent stuff in it. It's a cracking issue, and we were really excited by it, and we've put it on our list as one of the best issues of the game. And in it, there is a rather stunning dam. I don't know how well you can see that on there. There's the Isengard Dam is the piece of scenery for that week, and I made quite a big deal of saying I'd like to make that. I've got no need for it, no reason for it, but it was one of the ones that really stirred me to attempt to make it. And so when I started thinking about Ents and the display board, this came back to me. I was like, yes, that can be it. And also, with the best one in the world, it's relatively easy. It's not like when I had to make Bag End. It's mainly kind of, just polystyrene and rock and that sort of stuff. And what I love about it, it has a river, so I can do a Battle Streams of Middle-earth polystyrene ceiling tile, and incorporate that into my display base. So that was the display base. I was quite excited about that. I've got a running start, in that this was the display base. I picked up this picture frame to be my display base for my 2020 event, so I already had it. As you can see, no spoilers, but I've already marked out some stuff on the back for how I see this going. So I've got my display base. So I'm gonna build the dam, and it's going to be the break the dam, release the river moment, and they're going to all be on that, and so I need to build that. So what I decided to do was I went and checked the Steam, and for kind of fun Ents I could build, and I'm going to try and trying to convert the guy. There's one Ent you see, and he grabs the 2 wooden supports and he pulls them out. You see one Ent do that. So one of these Ents, one of my new Ents, is going to be that. It's going to be a guy. I'm going to model him somehow to be holding some big wooden struts or something. I might use balsa wood for that. I've also got a Lake Town House and the Rohan Palisades kit, so I might go digging through them and see if there's planks and stuff in there. But that's the idea, that one of those plastic kits is going to be designed specifically to go on the board and kind of look like he's pulling those out. The other one is going to be converted into Beachbone, which is there's no model, but I want to make him identifiable on the table. The plastic kit looks very much like Weta Workshop's beach design, so I don't think Weta ever confirmed which Ent was Beachbone, but they do confirm which Ent was the beach one, and it's one of the faces in the plastic kit. And he's got all the special rules about how much he hates orcs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and convert him with some orcs. I want him fighting orcs, maybe holding orcs. There's a scene in the Attack on Isengard where a different Ent smashes 2 orcs together. He's got one in each hand, he does this. And I'm going to try and convert something like that. So yeah, that would be all I needed. But then I decided, let's do another Ent. because I thought if I'm going to have water on this board, then wouldn't it be cool if I modelled the Ent that gets set on fire? Yes, it would be cool. So I didn't ask for 2 Ents from Will, I asked for 3 Ents from Will. So yeah, crucially, as I've already said, I've already got 5 Ents and I only need 7 Ents. I don't need this Ent, but I think he'll be cool. So if I can get this done, I'm going to try and model one that looks like he's running away screaming on fire. I've got some ideas for how I'm going to model the fire as well. I don't know if it'll work. But yeah, and then so I'll actually have a spare Ent that won't come to Throne of Skulls. One of them will have to be left behind, sadly. But yeah, so 3 Ents. All that are going to be converted into very, very different poses and unique poses. So that's going to take a lot of work. That will then sit on the display board. And that's what I need to do. I've got to build a costume. Obviously, I'm going in costume. No spoilers for guessing what I'm going as. But I need to do a costume and I need to get some custom dice ordered. So that's what I've got to achieve. Convert, build and paint 3 Ents. Build a big display board. Make a costume. And get some dice. And I've got 20 evenings to do it. And I've looked ahead and as far as I can see, 4 of those evenings are already taken up by social commitments. So I've actually got 16 evenings to do this. Now, and I'm not joking here, I'm not being glib, but it feels impossible to me. I can't see how I can possibly get it done, but for some reason I kind of think I will. We've also got a lot of home stuff on. We've got a lot of house stuff going, more on that in a minute. And that's taken up a lot of my free time at the weekend. So I don't really see how I'm going to do this. But I just kind of think that I will. So that's my exciting little journey, and I thought it'd be fun to blog about it because God knows I don't have enough to do. So I'm going to try and use this little hobby vlog to follow the process a little bit. Not every stage or anything, but just kind of give you updates of where I am in this countdown to what I'm calling Throne of Skulls from this point out, because it is Throne of Skulls. So my schedule. As I said, I've got 20 days, so it's not quite a full 3 weeks. We're on a Saturday, and the Throne of Skulls is on the Friday, or I'd leave on the Friday. So I've got until the Thursday night. So if I'm thinking about it in 3-week blocks, I've got to save 2 days first to get to a Thursday. So I've currently got kind of until Thursday, which is 5 days, and then 2 weeks. And the way I'm roughly breaking this up is that I need a week to convert and build these, because that's going to be a long process. I then need a week to do the display board, and I need a week to paint the Ents. That's how I'm splitting it up in my head, and it seems manageable. So I'm going to start by getting stuck into the Ents. I'm going to try and convert them over the next few evenings, and hopefully by Thursday I'll have an update for you and say yes, they're all converted. Now that doesn't mean we will finish the project, but what it means is if we haven't got to that point by Thursday, we're not going to finish the project. I think it's the reality. So fingers crossed, by then we will have converted them, and then I'll have a week to just dedicate to the display board, and then a week to kind of try and speed paint some Ents. Originally, about a month ago, I also planned on, if I manage to find some time, I've got Breaking of the Fellowship Pippin half painted. I've finished Merry, and so it'd be really good to get that finished and painted. So I've got a nice pair of hobbits as dismounts in their elven cloaks. I'd even wanted to get the plastic foot versions done from Treebeard, but I'm almost certain that's not going to happen now. But if I could just get that Pippin done, that would be a really nice little bonus feature for the build. I had some mad ideas. We'll have to see how time gets about on that dam, putting a piece of Isengard machinery on it, or putting some plastic orcs falling or something like that. They're all extravagant bonuses that I don't need, but I might be tempted to put on depending on time and all that. But we'll see. They're definitely the flourishes rather than the necessities. So that's it. That's what we're going to be trying to do. And the other thing I mentioned, there's a lot of house stuff going on, and the house stuff is that this room, my man cave, is being turned into a bedroom for one of my little girls, which of course whilst I'm sad about, is perfectly reasonable, and I'm more than happy to for my children to have the space over my little nerd room, but it means goodbye to this. for those of you who are new to Battle Streams, you might not know the history of this, but over on the GBHL podcast, this little corner of this room on this sofa is where me and Tom Harrison spent many years recording the Planter. It was the second home of the Planter, the first one being in a different room. We got moved out into the smaller room when we had our first daughter, and now it's being moved out of here. And it's happening over the next 2 weeks or so. So as I'm doing this process, that's what's taking up my other time. We're trying to renovate this room and empty this room. And so by the end of this video, I don't think this will be here. I think this room will be gone. And so I just wanted to take a little moment, and it's also what motivated me to do this video, to do one last hobby vlog, because I've been filming on this sofa for 7 years, in all sorts of things, primarily on the Planter. But in this little room here, I've been filming for 4 years. Obviously less so in the last sort of year, 2 years because of the pandemic. But between sort of 2017, 2019, this was the home of the Planter. This is where we did army reviews. This is where I did my hobby vlogs. And I love this. I love this little space, and I dearly love this sofa. And I just wanted to mark the end of this room, the end of this space, with one kind of last hobby vlog. So you can take one last look around. I tried to make sure we could see the legendary dado rail. I've got a few Palantir friends from the past behind me, but it's been a hell of a ride. And thank you to this space, because this will probably be the last thing I ever film in here on this sofa. For those of you sobbing your eyes out at home, the sofa will survive. The sofa is moving somewhere in the house, so you may well see the sofa in the future, but not in this environment. So yeah, I just wanted to mark that, and hopefully the good vibes of the Planter will carry us through this project. So there we go. That's what we're up to. I'm gonna cut the camera, and I'm gonna get stuck into these Ents, and I'm gonna come back in a few evenings' time when hopefully I'll have some good progress to show you. So wish me luck, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so I am back with my first update, and it's longer than I hoped it would be. I think, if memory serves, I was recording last on a Saturday. That was the intro, and it is now the following Sunday, so it's 8 days later. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I think I'd hoped to have my Ents converted by the Thursday, and so I'm recording this bit 3 days later than I hoped I would, but the good news is the Ents are converted. So I'll have a look at those. In a minute I'll show you what I've done with them, but it's not good to be 3 days behind already, but I think we're quite hopeful. So let's go and have a look at the Ents. So I'm going to start with the most basic one, which is this guy. So this is the one that I absolutely don't need. This is the Ent who is going to hopefully be on fire. He's a fairly basic conversion of the kit. There's no, I say conversion, but there was no there wasn't any anything particularly clever done with this, beyond repositioning the arms. So the arms kind of are coming straight out on him, as opposed to I've had to cut off the ball joins which are here, that go into the sockets, just to make sure that he's sticking out properly. I went for the birch face again because I've already used the other face twice. He's going to have his arms standing up, and I tried to go for this kind of running pose that's trying to match the imagery that's in the film of one screenshot. I might be able to flash that up, but as I've already previewed this, some of these to our Battle Streams Middle Earth patrons, and I think he also looks a bit like he's doing an exercise class or the YMCA or something like that. I was pretty pleased with how he turned out. As you can see, I've done loads of green stuff on him. I had a little go here at putting some kind of roots onto that, because the bottom of the feet is a bit flat, but otherwise it's just sticking green stuff into into the joins of the conversions. I'm no sculpting genius by any means, but Ents are really easy to do this on. You can very easily just shove green stuff in and then just kind of poke it with a tool to get an authentic texture, and I'm sure that'll look cool once it's done. So there you go. That's the first one all ready to go, which is good. The next one, let's do my conversion of beach bone, and that is this guy here, and I am really pleased with how this guy's turned out. So, as I said, I was going to use wet as beach design, which is what this plastic Ent is, and the one that they label as beach has this face, so it's the same face as the one I just showed you here. Again, nothing too fancy about the legs and that sort of stuff, just had to try and get a go for a kind of fairly dominant position, if that's the word, a fairly kind of stoic pose of an Ent, trying to do some terrible things to some orcs, that sort of stuff. But he came out okay. But the main work on this one was on the orcs he's carrying. So hopefully you can see that this one is holding an orc in here. I'll turn him and bring his orc around. You get this. So this is a basic Mordor orc, most of it. But the hand over here, I'll give you a few seconds to guess. Anyone recognise this hand? This arm? It is the arm of Keely the dwarf. I had a few spare Thorin's company models knocking about, so Keely sacrificed his arm for it. I wanted to go for a bit of an arm where the hand was kind of open rather than just closed fist, where I've cut their weapons off and that kind of stuff. And Keely was a good donor for that. I don't think we'll notice the scale difference particularly once it all gets painted. So there we go. I'll talk a little bit more about the hand after I've shown you the other orc, and that is this guy here. Ooh. And again, this guy was far more elaborate. So this is a Mordor orc, a broken Mordor orc I had lying around. I then had to give him this foot here is from a Uruk-hai warrior, which I just tried to match up relatively well to his other leg, purely because that leg was missing. The hand over here is from, I think that's from Ori, the dwarf. So he's had a little outstretched hand put on as well. And the head, and again, this is a very little known head, but this head is actually from one of the orc casualties that comes with the Ents brew. So I've built him, it's normally flat, I've built in the back of it, it's not very good, but I'm hoping once it gets painted up and all that, it will look alright. I might even try sanding that down a bit. But yeah, I had a go. As I said, I'm not much of a sculptor, but I think it'll hopefully look alright. Kind of built the back of his head up there. I quite liked this one because he was screaming, and I didn't actually have any other spare orc heads. So you might recognise this model as well. This arm is from a different orc because there's normally a shield here. So I've carved away the shield and then put on this arm from a completely different Mordor orc. So this guy's a real Frankenstein model. Wouldn't think it just to have a Mordor orc, but trying to get a pose where it looks like he's kind of being held and all that was quite tricky. Talking of being held, if we go and have a look at the Ent hands here, this Ent has the normal Ent hands. So this is what the Ent hand pieces on the kit will look like. Okay. Oh, you have it? Come on, there we go. That's what you get. And then round here, that's what you get. Okay, and so it's fine, but with a bit of conversion work, you could do you could kind of bend every bit around. But I decided to do something either perhaps both far simpler and far more stupid, which was I took the piece from the Ent kit. I've got the spare one here. It's holding the rock. So on the Ent kit you get this, which is an alternate Ent hand holding a rock. And what I did was basically cut away the rock. So if you take this little hand here with the 4 fingers ending in a tiny little hand, and you go and look at that hand there, you'll see that it's the same. Oh, go on, focus. There we go. So that's that hand there with the rock cut away, which worked quite well. And then I just basically duplicated it over here. It's the same hand there. So he's actually got 2, whatever this is. Is that left hand, I think. So the Ent's got two left hands there. I'll just cut it away, and then similarly, the kind of thumb, if you will, that's on this part of the rock, I just cut away and put underneath. So it was a lot of chopping. Because it's plastic, it's fairly easy, and I think it came out quite well. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. And again, a bit of green stuffing to kind of hide those joins. It's all going at a very different angle to what it's meant to be going, but you know, the great thing about green Ents and green stuff is that you can be fairly rough and it all looks fine in the end. It doesn't look like bark or moss or something. So I'm pleased with how that came out. He's not, if you remember, I think, who knows if I would have shown you the screenshot, but I was going for him smashing the orcs together, was my original plan, but just as I was posing him, I didn't find a pose of that I liked, but I quite like this one. Whereas I feel like he's looking at this guy. I feel that there's a good like the model's telling a nice story here, and I'm sure they're about to be smashed together. But yeah, I think it's probably a better pose than the idea of holding them, you know, with their heads about to crack, I think. So there we go, that's going to be my beach bone, and hopefully he'll be nicely identifiable on the table by the fact that he's holding a couple of scary orcs. There we go. I'm over there. And that leaves my final Ent, which is the one I think again I would have showed you and talked about in the first video, but he's going to be breaking the dam of Isengard, and that's this guy, who's by far the most elaborate conversion I've done. So it's the alternate head, for one thing, but as you can hopefully see, he's got his foot up. So this guy is going to be breaking down the gates of Isengard. I'll just bring a glass in. The idea would be that, I think I might have talked about this in the past, but he's bracing his leg against the wall. So if I bring that down there, hopefully you can see the pole and the leg both kind of would touch the wall of the dam. And the idea is he's sticking his leg up, bracing himself, and then pulling this pole away from the dam to break the dam, release the river. That's this guy's job. So fairly elaborate pose. I did a fair bit of my most magnificent green stuffing work here to get the roots. I don't think they're particularly good. Maybe they look like snakes, but hopefully they'll do once it's all painted. Again, just to get a bit of depth and texture onto that kind of flat foot. There's loads of green stuff all around the joins where I've converted it. And then the other main work was to add these two posts that he's going to be pulling away. And in the end, I used the post from the Rohan Palisades kit. It's the bit that goes on the corner of the pieces when you join them together. I had some Palisades, excuse me, with some spare bits, and decided to use those. They seem to be the right scale, so I was pretty pleased with it. Again, if you're wondering how this is done, this is one of the Ent hands, another spare Ent hand that's just holding a small rock, and I've actually got a piece here. This is what I did. So this is the Ent hand, and I drilled a hole through it like that to slide that through. More on why I've done this. I didn't just drill another one just to show you how I did it, but that's what's going on there. He's had that hole drilled through, and then the palisade has been stuck through. And then over here we've obviously got the same thing, and this hand was originally meant to go on here, but if you can imagine, you put that on there, then the pole has to come down here, and I just couldn't find any natural way to make the hand be in the right direction to hold the pole really, so I had to abandon this piece, and instead I went with this hand, which is actually the hand from the new Treebeard model that I didn't use. So we'll see a slight change in the bark texture here, but I don't think it will matter one jot, to be honest, once it's all painted. So this hand is the hand in the new Treebeard kit that's holding the rock, and I didn't use that one, so I had it in my Ents, my spare bag of Ent bits, and I basically just took loads of different fingers from different. I think I added these from a different Ent hand, and just kind of did my bit to wrap the fingers around this pole in the most natural way I could, and I think it's come out quite well. I'm quite pleased with this really. I think it looks like he's kind of naturally holding it and gripping it with the roots. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. And then this one, as you can see, is a longer pole. I actually stuck two of those palisade rods together. I'm not sure if you can see the join. It's probably that white bit there, I think. But yeah, I glued two of those together so that this one, the idea is that he's pulled this one out from the dam, but this one's still in the dam. He's just wrenching it out. So that's that, and I'm quite pleased with this guy. Again, I think he might look absolutely ridiculous in certain settings, but equally, I think maybe when you put him on the table, even if he doesn't have a dam near him, he might just look like he's about to kick your model in the face, which I think could be quite cool. Now the last thing I wanted to do that I'll just literally have run out of time for here is these should have kind of square panels on the top. These should have a kind of metal bit representing the kind of the metal bracket that it was attached to the dam by. And as of yet I just haven't done that because I haven't found the piece I want to use. I just need to find a bit of plastic and stick it on and drill some holes through or something. I don't really know, but that needs doing. But I think I'm going to have to do that a bit on the fly, to be honest. Maybe as a last minute moment, because I need to get these guys started. I need to start spraying them. So if I put more here, so you can see my little trio of Ents. The plan is to get these guys sprayed, undercoated tomorrow. Tomorrow during the morning and during the day, which will allow me to start painting them tomorrow evening, which I think I need to do. This guy hasn't got any sand glued down on him because he's going to be in the water. So I'm going to do something different with his base. But yeah, so that's where I am. The 3 are converted. I'm really happy with them, and I think I've got enough time to paint them. So that's the good news. The display board, I haven't made any progress on. That's the biggest bad news, really. There's no progress on that. The custom dice have been ordered, which is cool, and I've even made some progress on my costume. Bits have started turning up for the costume, which is pretty cool. And my mum and my wife, both of whom are involved in the costume, have been like brainstorming about ideas about kind of sewing and that sort of stuff, which is quite good fun. So yeah, things are going all right. Things aren't too bad, but there's no denying I'm a few days behind where I hoped I would be when I recorded the next bit. But hopefully that gives you a little update of where we are to now. So as I said, it's Sunday. So basically this time in 2 weeks, Toronto Skulls will be over. So that must mean I've got, 12 days left or something like that, something ridiculous, to try and get all this done. Still think it's impossible, but we'll just keep swimming. So who knows when I next, by the time I show you my next bit, there should hopefully be some paint on these and maybe some work on the display board, but we'll have to see. Okay, I'll see you soon. Okay, so as an update to the update, it's about half an hour since I stopped recording the last clip, and as you'll hopefully remember, because it was seconds ago for you, I was saying that at some point in the future I needed to create the metal bits on the end of the Dam Buster Ents poles, but I didn't know how I was going to do that, and inspiration struck, and they are done. Huzzah! So this has gone spectacularly well. So basically, after I spoke to you last, I then went digging through my scenery bits box looking for bits and bobs, and I ended up finding this, which is a bag of spare bits from my foreground Fabled Realms terrain, which included some chimney stacks. These kind of spare chimney stacks, and hopefully you can see there's a couple of small rectangles missing there, and that's because they were the perfect size for what I wanted. So these poles now have one of those square chimney stacks put on the end. That was the square bit I needed. One on there, one on there. I then needed the metal tubing part under there, and for that I used one of these bad boys. The paint handle, or what you call them, paint cover-up protector, paintbrush protector from GW. I found a big one that was the perfect width, so I cut a little bit of that off, slid it on, then glued on the metal bit, and then for the final touch I drilled 4 holes to be like the nail holes, and I even put some dressmaking pins in and cut them off to represent the massive nails that would have been put in. I put 3 in one and 2 in the other one. The idea obviously being that some of them had been left in the dam. And that was complete. So yeah, I am really chuffed with this. I think that's exactly the sort of thing I was after. I think they look good, and hopefully once they're all painted up, they'll give a fairly convincing effect of what they're meant to be. So yeah, wonderful bonus update, really happy to get them finished, and he is now ready to be undercoated. Looking quite cool. Okay, so here we are. It's a few days later, and time for the for an update. It is now Thursday, so I think I last recorded on Saturday or Sunday, so it's a few days later. And as you can see, the Ents have some paint on them, so that's progress. Have a quick look here, and you can see that I've picked up beach bone. Basically what's happened is the dry brushing the bark is now done. It's finished. I've just followed the Warhammer TV guide for tree beard, which I've used for all my Ents in the past, which is that you spray them Mechanica Standard Grey as an undercoat, and then you dry brush them with Baneblade Brown, and then you dry brush them with Karak Stone, and then you dry brush them with Deepkin Flesh, and that's it. I've done that, I've got it done. They're alright. If I'm brutally honest, I never think my Ents look very good, to be totally clear. If I show you another one, this is a finished one. So this is the complete process. Same sort of dry brushing, and obviously he's had his leaves and his eyes and his fungus all picked out. So it ends up looking something like this. And as I hold these up next to each other, I think they're kind of similar. I think the colour schemes are pretty good, you know, depending on how heavily you dry brush, you get darker and lighter Ents and that sort of thing. But whilst I think they look a bit kind of crappy at the moment, I believe that they turn out alright. Here's my tree beard. He was actually the one I think that came out the best. I don't know if it's maybe the texture on the new tree beard lends it into him. But anyway, so even though I think they look a bit rubbishy now, I hold out hope that all the kind of extra colours that you put in, also the green and finishing off the bases, really makes them pop. But yeah, so you can see the dry brushing is done, which is pretty cool. So what that means is, as I said, it's Thursday, so I've got tonight, I've got the evening, so I've got 8 evenings left to go. I would suggest that these Ents are probably about 2 evenings away from being finished. I've just got to pick out, you know, it's not too much now to go through. I've got to pick out all the leaves, I've got to pick out all the eyes and the fungus. I've got to paint these 2 kind of wooden shafts here on Douglas the Downbuster, and then obviously I've also got to paint beach bones 2 orcs, which is that sort of annoying job, which you think, oh, you can easily forget about, but then realize now I do genuinely have to paint 2 orcs, you know, I can't really forget about those. So yeah, that's the progress. By the end, you know, to go on my, you know, entirely arbitrary timescale, to by the end of tonight, the Ents needed to be converted, and either the Ents needed to be painted or the scenic base needed to be finished. Now that's obviously not going to be done, but as you'll see, there's a small amount of work been done on the scenic base, and the Ents aren't too far away. So I still think it's quite hard and quite impossible, to be honest, but I'm not too far behind, so we'll keep chugging away. So what else do I need to do? I need to build a display board from scratch. More on that in a second. These 3 need to be finished and painted. I also need to finish my Pippin in a perfect world. Here he is. You can see he's I think his skin's done, so he's actually genuinely not that far off, to be honest. He just needs like me to sit down with him for an evening or something, finishing. So I've got to get him done surely. So Pippin's got to get finished, and then I've also got to do the fire effect on this guy. Remember, this guy's meant to be on fire, and you know, I don't really know quite how I'm going to do it yet, but I made some progress because yesterday this arrived. This is Everbuild Clear Fix. It clearly sticks anything. It doesn't say it clearly looks like fire, which is a bit of a worry, but this is a polymer adhesive that was recommended to me by some noob on the internet. What was his name? I think Steve something, Crow, Bill, something, I can't remember. But he suggested that this might be handy. And so I got this, and I got these. These are Vallejo transparent paint. Now I've used their blue in the past for water effects for bases. I've used their transparent blue, and so I just decided to get these and see what would happen. So they're paint that dries transparent, which I figure that dries transparent, and this is kind of clear, and I reckon once this model is beautifully painted, if I pour this all over him and pour these all over him, it will look like he's on fire, right? So that's the plan. Anyway, so there'll be an update soon where you see me ruin this Ent kit and throw it in the bin, but that's kind of the plan with that. So yeah, at some point I've got to work out how to sculpt and paint fire and put that onto an Ent model. I'm sure that'll all be all right. And then beyond that, I've got to do the display board, and I made some progress on that. So this is going to be my display board. This is an old picture frame that I found. I didn't have to go shopping with it. I keep a load of these in the in one of my cupboards, like just old picture frames that I think I pick up cheap at charity shops that I might use for display boards in the future. So this one was the perfect size. I think I might have even shown you that in the very first clip, I can't remember. But I've had a piece of hardboard cut for the back of it. So this is down from my local timber merchants. You obviously take the back off, get rid of the glass, get rid of the picture, and then get a piece of hardboard cut that's the right size. And then I have since glued that and tacked it. You can see the sort of tacks coming in there onto the back. So that's going to be my display board, and I'm ready to go with that. So, you know, arguably it doesn't quite look like the Isengard Dam just yet, but you know, it's in motion. So that's the next step. And sadly, tragically, I've now got to the stage where I can't avoid going to the shed. I've got to do all the messy work in the shed, and just, you know, to get the feeling across. My shed is not like Ben Bowles' shed. It's not a beautiful, warm hobby haven. My shed is a cold dungeon without power, without lighting, without heating, ruled by spiders akin to Shelob and the Spider Queen. It's also the very end of November at the moment in England, and it's bloody freezing. I'm at work during the day, which means I've only got the evenings to do this, so it's basically a case of going down to a freezing shed in the middle of the night with no light and trying to somehow work down there. I don't really know how it's going to happen, but that's the next stage. I'm going to be doing some of that tonight. I'm going to start trying to do some of the raw construction. So I'll probably come back and show you what this looks like, maybe in the shed when I'm being attacked by spiders, to kind of get all the rough foam into place. But that's the next step, and then alongside that I'll be trying to finish the Ents, and I'll be trying to paint Pippin, and I think that's about it. So yeah, 8 evenings to go at this point. Still feels impossible, but you know, at least this is started. Oh crap. And we're back. Time for an update. As you can see, progress has been made, but more on that in a second. More importantly, if I give you a timing update, it's currently Saturday. Saturday the, I don't know what it is, 29th, something like that. But the Saturday before Throne of Skulls, so 1 week before. So I think it's a few days since I last recorded. I think I last recorded on Wednesday or Thursday, something, perhaps showing you something to do with the Ents. But yes, it is now Saturday, and as you can see, our situation has changed. I am currently in my shed, and it's cold. It's pretty awful. I can't remember if I said this, that the cold has dulled my memory, but my shed it's not like the wonder shed of Ben Bowles. I have no heating down here. I've trailed a long extension cable to get a bit of light down here, but I'm bleeding. I don't know when that happened. That's good news. So it's all going wrong. But yeah, I'm cold down here. It's Saturday. It's wet outside. Storm Arwen is devastating our country at the moment, and it's dark and it's miserable and it's bloody cold. So I'm down here wrapped up. I'm in my working hoodie that I always think makes me look a bit like a medieval peasant of some sort, albeit a medieval peasant who likes Blink-182 perhaps. But yeah, so we're back. But whilst the circumstances are bloody awful, the situation is pretty good. As you can see, some progress. I think this was just a picture frame when we last saw you, but as you can see, I've actually made a lot of progress on the groundbreaking on the display board, which is pretty cool. I've got to give a big shout out to my Bible as ever, which is the Battle Games of Middle-earth, issue 32, where I'm following the guide for the dam. But I followed this thing and it seemed a bit mad at times, but it actually seems to be working out so far. So let's see how we're doing. As you can hopefully see, I'm going to take these off because they are removable. But what we've got there, hopefully you can see that, you've got a kind of back wall of this. Oh god, if only I had somewhere to put things. I'm going to put that there and it's going to fall on the floor in a minute. I'm going to regret it instantly. But can you hopefully see that? These come off as well. Put those over there. There is the display board as it is at present. We've got a kind of back piece of foam board just to give it all some structure. We've got the main piece of Celotex foam in the middle that's going to be the dam, and I have made the banks out of Celotex, and I've even got my polystyrene ceiling tile there as the river. Again, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but there's many better ways to do rivers, of course, the talented people can do, but I was so excited about using the polystyrene ceiling tile that, you know, I did the river, which is that came out of the Battle Games of Middle-earth magazine, and that got put onto the Battle Streams, and I did the Watcher and the water board, and it all works really well. So this just felt like, this feels very Battle Streams to me, to have a polystyrene ceiling tile as the river. That was cool. That's the kind of basic shape of it. And then in this wonderful tome, it actually shows you, I don't know how well that'll read on there, but it says to then make the cliffs out of, it's going to be a bit dark in there, make the cliffs out of blocks of polystyrene. And it says build them separately. It says it's a good idea to build the rocks around the dam, gluing them to each other, but not actually gluing them to the main structure, so the base does not get in the way when you come to shape them. And I thought that sounded a bit mad, to be honest, but I've given it a go and it actually kind of works. So I've then got these cliffs that are built out of blocks of Celotex, and that one, so that side, that one slots in there, something like that, and this one here slots into there, something like that. And the idea is that now I can carve these. You can see I've got lots of cocktail sticks keeping them in place. I can carve these without having to get around the board, which is the point of that sort of thing. So that'll be quite cool. And then the other pieces, which are these, I went back and forth with this a bit, but have decided to make, can you hopefully see, you see the circles on that? There's a circle, 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 and a circle, circle, circle. These are going to be holes for the Ents bases to stand in. So I've got a piece of foam board that I'm going to put underneath here, sort of like that. This sits in so that there'll be indented holes for the Ents to stand in on the base. Now, I went back and forth with this a few times, and I'm not doing it, it does look better I think when the models are indented on a base like that, but I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm mainly doing it, I was thinking about carrying this thing around and having these quite large Ents, and a bit worried about them toppling over, so I thought it might be better to have the little indent there to kind of hold them in place a bit more. So that's where I've got to, and the most important one is actually for, can I lean over without knocking the camera over? Let's find out. I've actually got one Ent down here with me, which is Douglas the Dam Buster, and this guy is meant to be resting his foot on the dam and pulling this off the dam, so his positioning is actually really important to be able to kind of slide him in place and make sure he goes there. So because I'm cutting a hole out, I've had to involve him at every stage of the process to make sure that there's space for an Ent in exactly the right position. All the others, they could be any of the Ents, it doesn't really matter, but he needed to be in exactly the right position to make sure that he was done. So there we go. That's where I got up to. We're sort of 2 evenings into construction on the board, and then tonight what I'm doing is carving these bits away and then doing the last of the construction and gluing everything down today, ready for polyfillering tomorrow. And I have to do that on Sunday because I've got a bit of daylight, I've got a bit of time in the day to do with it. So we're very much up against the cosh in terms of timing, but I'm actually feeling pretty positive, to be honest. I've made more progress than I thought I would. The Ents have had another evening or 2 of painting, so the Ents are really close to being finished painted, which is really cool. And so we're 2 weeks in. As I said, I started recording this on Saturday, it's another Saturday, and I've got, is it 6 evenings? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, 6 evenings left to go on the entire project before I have to go to Throwing Skulls. But it's the first time where I feel like I might finish it. I've genuinely thought since I've started I'm not going to finish this, but this is the first time where I've genuinely thought, you know what, I still need everything to go right,
but I might be able to get this done.
And so here we go. Here's how things look after carving. Just a brief update to let you know how that process has gone. As you can see, the cliff's all down here, now been carved into a roughly kind of cliffy shape, a bit more than the blocks. We've got our places for the Ents kind of attached down the bottom. Over here, more of the same, and then up here another cliff, all ready to go. So there we go, pretty successful. And the next stage is going to be covering the whole damn thing in polyfiller, which I'm hoping to do tomorrow night. Can you see that? Okay, so here we are. I think the camera cut off a bit last night, a bit early, but here we are. It's the next night. It's Sunday night, and as you can see, this is not polyfillered. I'd hoped to polyfiller this today during the day to leave myself free for painting tonight, but I just had too much kind of family stuff going on. As I think I said to you at the start of the video, we're trying to clear that room out, and I just had to concentrate on that today, so I didn't get any time to do it. So I'm back out in the shed. It's just gone 11 PM at night, and it's really, really bloody cold, and I've now got to try and polyfiller this entire thing, which I'm not looking forward to at all, if I'm honest. It's very late at night and it's very cold out here, but I have to do it. I've got to get it done tonight. If I don't get this finished tonight, the polyfiller won't dry, which won't allow me to texture the board, which won't allow me to paint it in time. So it's got to be done. So I'm just going to kind of plough on and try and pretend it's the middle of the afternoon and pretend it's not freezing cold, and just try and make the best of it really. And hopefully it'll go faster than I hope it will. But I'm going to do it in a very slapdash manner, no doubt. But yeah, so that's the plan. I'm gonna stick to it here, get this done, and then tomorrow night, which will be Monday night, hopefully it'll be dry. That's the other thing. I've had issues with polyfiller on big builds before, but I'm going to take it inside and leave it in a nice warm house, and hopefully it'll dry overnight solid. And then tomorrow night I sand it down and glue the sand onto it, which will allow me to start painting it on Tuesday night. But yeah, so that's where we are. It's weird, I was really positive yesterday, but I was really positive because I assumed I was going to get some time this afternoon, and I haven't. And suddenly, as much as it's only a couple of hours setting me back, I do feel kind of a bit worried about it now, if I'm honest. But yeah, there's no point dwelling on that anymore. It's definitely the lowest I've been about the project, but hopefully in a couple of hours this will all be done, and I'm going to go inside and have a nice long shower and then go to bed. So wish me luck, and we'll see you on the other side. What about that one? You see that one? So I just wanted to cause a little message because we're done. As you can see, the board is now covered in polyfiller. It is just gone half midnight, so it took an hour and a half. Not too bad. I had the Andy Serkis Hobbit in, listening to that. So we got there, it's done. I did what I have to do. I'm now going to take this in. I think it looks alright. I'm still going to sand it down a bit, obviously, once it's all dried, but it's covered up kind of a lot of the carving I did, and the rocks look a bit smooth at the moment, but I really couldn't care less at this point. It is what it is. I just have to get on with it. So I'm going to take this inside, and hopefully it will dry overnight to allow me to have a big sanding session tomorrow. So that's what tomorrow night is. I've got one last night in the cold shed, just sanding this down to make it a bit smooth, ready for painting. But I don't think I'll update you on that. So hopefully tomorrow's update will be from the nice warm house where I'm painting some Ents or something like that, and let you know whether or not this dried. But yeah, hooray, we've done it, we got through it. Let's go, 5 days to go. So just as a bit of an update, I think it's a couple of days later. I don't think I recorded anything yesterday. I think I recorded on Sunday, but it is now Tuesday evening. I'm just about to start work for the night on Tuesday. It's already quite late, and as you can see, I wanted to record this just before I covered any more of it in paint, but I have made good progress. So I had a good night on the board last night. I think last time you saw this, it'd just been covered in polyfiller, or maybe it was about to be covered in polyfiller. But anyway, it's been covered in polyfiller. Then the polyfiller was all sanded down. Then sand has been glued down here, ready to texture the bases essentially. I glued some kind of slate in there at the bottom of the dam, and actually the cliffs, I covered them all in textured paint. I don't really like the effect of textured paint, but it was just, I feel like kind of the polyfiller I might have been too heavy handed on, and some of the kind of nice sculpted detail that I'd put into the cliffs has been lost, and they've all kind of got a bit rounded, but you know, I couldn't care less at this stage, but so I thought, why not chuck texture paint over it for the lols. And then one stage where we are still a fair bit behind is here, the dam. That's kind of where we're meant to be going, and today we're meant to be putting tiny blocks on it. We're cutting individual blocks and gluing them all there, and I'm getting a bit worried about that, and God knows whether that will go ahead tonight, but we'll have to wait and see. But that's the kind of plan here. I'm now going to chuck a load of paint over everything to get a base coat on it, ready for it to be start dry brush tomorrow night, which is Wednesday. I might give you another update when I'm upstairs, but I've made a lot of progress on the other models as well, in terms of like the Ents and the fire and that sort of stuff. But yeah, yesterday was a good day, but today's a bad day. I haven't started this early enough, and I'm getting worried again. But no time, nothing for it. I'm just going to get stuck in and see how we get on. Hello. Time for an update. I think my last update was on Tuesday. I think I started filming just before my evening of work on Tuesday, and I was feeling pretty positive. A day later, which is yesterday, it's Thursday today. Tuesday did not go well. I didn't get the dam assembled on Tuesday, so I was a day behind, and I was in real trouble there. I think I still am in real trouble with the board, in all honesty. Let's be very clear, it's Thursday, which means I'm going to Throne Skulls tomorrow. I've got about 20, it's Thursday morning at the moment, but I've got a work day ahead of me today. But it's about, I've got about 27 hours until I need to get in the car, something like that. And I feel like I'm more than 27 hours away, let alone the fact that I don't have 27 hours working it. But let's deal with the positives. Last night, so Wednesday night, I had a really cracking night on the non-board stuff. So I want to give a big shout out to my pal Rob Cron, who I basically chatted to on Zoom for about 4 or 5 hours last night, I think. But I basically hobbied from about 9 PM till about 2 in the morning last night. So it was a big old session. Things went really well. So I'll just show you what I was working on here. Basically, are they finished? I think they're finished. The Ents are all finished now. So I'll show you a little B-roll stuff to this, but Beach Bone is done. So the big thing I was working on last night was the orcs. As we know, Beach Bone's holding 2 orcs that I converted, and I've also got these 2 casualties that are the ones from the Ent kit, and I painted up one of each of those. These were, I think, base coated and shaded last night, so I did the highlights on these. I probably spent, they don't even look that good to be honest, but I probably spent far more time on them than I should, given the state of things. But I wanted to have a couple of those orcs kind of around the place, as it were. I've dug out these poor guys, they're terrified. I've dug out the orcs that I painted for Battle Streams some months back, and the plan is that I'm gonna cut some of these off their bases and glue them onto the board. It feels very Battle Streams to me, so sorry guys. I feel like I'm going to be destroying my model collection, but they're only plastic mortar orcs, and I think it'd be fun to dress the dam with a few orcs. So that's also why I've got these casualties to kind of deal with that. So that's good. I was also working on these 2 support posts. These don't look very exciting, but these, you've seen my conversion of Douglas Fir, the downburster, who's going to be wrenching off 2 of the supports. So I've made 2 more supports that are basically going to be leaning against the dam like that, because I suddenly figured if there were 2 on one side that Ents ripping off, there must be 2 on the other side. So I've got those. I made those, which was quite good fun. And then yeah, the main thing's the Ents. So I just showed you Beach Bone's finished. Douglas for Dam Buster is done. He's been done for quite some time. Now I think he was the first one completed. Oh, Beach Bone's not finished. God. Beach Bone needs his last, I keep forgetting this, because I keep putting it off because it's such a small thing. Beach Bone needs his last green highlight. He needs an Elysian green highlight on all of his leaves. So that's probably only about sort of 15 minutes work or something, but I need to do that. Yeah, then Douglas Further Down Buster is done. Looking pretty good, I think. And also the one that I'm most excited and most happy about is Bernie is finished. So this is Bernie. I don't want to tip him too far because his water effect on his base is still drying, but that is Bernie using all the kind of effects I've been talking about. So it is the clear fix stuff from Everbuild. I've done it in 2 layers, put some onto it, painted that with the transparent yellow, and then put some more onto it, and then when that's dry, painted the tips of it with transparent orange. And I gotta say, I'm pretty pleased with this. I don't know if it's even going to remotely focus up there. That looks like it's in focus to me. But I think this looks pretty damn cool. So I'm very, very happy with this. I'm very pleased to have essentially not ruined an Ent. And then, yeah, as you can see, he's going to be on a water base because he's going to be running through the water. He's the one Ent who's going to be standing in the river. So there we go. The Ents are done. No, they're not done, Damian. They're not done. Beachbone needs a tiny bit of work, but they're pretty much done. Model-wise, I've given up on Pippin. There's just no way I'm going to get Pippin done because this all looks quite positive. I've got one more evening. You should see the state of the boards in. Yeah, Pippin won't get done, and I've also abandoned the idea of doing any dam machinery. I had this kind of plan to do a little bit of like a little balsa wood machine that maybe even one of the Ents was pulling off the top, but it's just never going to happen now. It was always a kind of bonus if time allowed, and time categorically does not allow. I don't know if I've shown these as well, but I've also done these using the same Everbuild stuff, which these kind of hanging things, and these are going to be water jets. Again, I can't see from here if that's focusing. That looks like it's focusing, but I think these have come out pretty well. So the idea is I'm going to stick these bursting out of the dam to represent the kind of those jets of water. I've got a couple of other like longer ones as well, like this sort of thing. So this is just a kind of clear cable tie that I poured the. Sorry, I can't see if it's focusing. I might do some B-roll stuff. Just a clear cable tie with the Everbuild clear fix stuff poured down over it. And these ones, I don't know if you can see. These are just white cocktail sticks with those the caps that come with paintbrushes, the clear caps to protect your paintbrushes, and then the stuff poured over it. And I think it works pretty well. So I'd be interested to see. I'm not necessarily going to use all of them. I'm going to pick the ones which have come out the best, and then stick them on the board to hopefully look like water jets. But yeah, that'll be that. So there we go. That's a little update. And what I'm also now going to do is take you downstairs and show you the state of the board, which I'll talk about it when we're down there, but it ain't good. Yeah, so like I said, recap, it's Thursday morning. I've got 27 hours before I go to Throwing Skulls, and I've got to work all day. This is what my display board currently looks like on Thursday morning. If it's not reading on the camera, this is currently dark brown, this is currently dark blue, and this is currently bare polystyrene and textured paint. This hasn't been painted yet. So if I say I'm in a bit of trouble. At this point today, according to my schedule, the board was meant to be painted like dry brush, and I was just going to do texturing tonight. It was all going to be very relaxed. As it is, it's an absolute nightmare. I don't know what I'm going to do, in all honesty. I think it'll be finished. I'm not going to say, will it be finished or not. I'm going to get something done, but I don't know what order I'm going to do it, and it's going to be a bit of a mess. Once I do get this base coated, all I need to do is spend the night dry brushing it, and then that's done. So painting it is quite easy. But the problem is, if you follow battle streams, you'll know from when I did my Watcher board and when I did my River Fantasy Fellowship, I'm going to do the classic battle streams, Battle Games of Middle Earth trick, and do, this is a polystyrene ceiling tile down here, as are all these bits, polystyrene ceiling style. Followed the guide completely. God love battle games. And I'm going to put PVA glue over the river to give it that watery effect, and I just feel like not only does it look quite cool for an easy effect, but it just feels the right thing to do. It feels very battle streams to me. But the way you normally do these things is you paint everything, you completely paint it, then you put the PVA glue on it, and then about 24 or 48 hours later you flock it when the PVA is completely dry. But at the moment, as I say, I've got to be in the car in 27 hours, so I don't know what order to do things. I'm literally trying to think this through. I just can't understand. Imagine if I paint it all tonight and then put the PVA glue on to dry overnight, then I can't flock it tomorrow morning, because the PVA will still be wet and it'll get flock in it. On the other hand, if I paint it all first, which I could do, and flock the board first, which I could feasibly do tonight, in theory, that then means I'm pouring PVA glue over this tomorrow morning and driving it to Nottingham with wet PVA glue on it, which also seems insane. So I don't know what the answer is, in all honesty. I don't know how I'm going to get around that. Sorry, I'm not sure if I made that clear, but the reason being that as well, if you do that as soon as you move the board, the static grass, which is inevitably loose, will get onto the wet PVA and glue. You've got to do the glue before the static grass. You have to. If static grass blows onto dry PVA, you can brush it off. If it falls onto wet PVA, you get a grassy river, which is just a disaster. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to deal with it, but yeah, I'm in a real spot of bother with it. It's really annoying because I feel like I'm nearly there. And as ever, I always seem to say this, that I just need one more evening. I just need one more evening, but I haven't got it. So I don't know what I'm going to do, truly. But tonight I'm going to get stuck into this. I think I'm going to chuck a load of paint over it, put the PVA glue down tonight, and then just hope for the best in terms of it drying quicker than it has in the past for some reason. I'll put the heating up or something, I don't know. And then try and flock it tomorrow. Otherwise, maybe I'm driving flock to Nottingham and trying to flock it Saturday morning. That makes me feel ill just thinking about it. So there we go. That's where we are. I'm feeling pretty good about it in a bizarre sort of way. I don't understand how this is going to get finished, but surely it will. Surely it will. We'll see. Okay, so good evening and welcome to the end of all things. It is 10 PM on Thursday night. It is the final night. We are really out of time, and we have one last push, the last breath before the storm, essentially. So since you saw things this morning, I had an incredibly productive hour first thing this morning, and actually, as you can see, I managed to get the base painted. So this is now dry brushed the way my bases are normally done, and I managed to get the river painted and finished. And I even managed to, the dreaded PVA question I put on, it's probably not coming up there very well, but this has had the PVA put onto it and it's dried and it's got that kind of shiny effect. I deliberately went for quite a thin layer of PVA this time because I didn't want to have the worries with the drying, and I was very pleasantly surprised that it had completely dried and completely cleared somewhere in the region of, I don't know, like 7 hours later or something. So I almost wish that I'd gone a bit thicker, and then it would have been a more profound effect, I think. But we're done now. I'm not going to risk another coat on that. That's done. So we got that done. As you can see, at 10 PM, the night before I leave for Throne of Skulls, the cliffs and the dam are still base coated. Nothing more than that. That is a big issue. So that's what I'm about to do now, and that's going to be the major work. But as I said, this only took about an hour to paint, and it's all dry brushing, so I think it'll be similar. Obviously I've got the issue here with this potentially still being sticky and more important being finished. And so what I've cunningly done is got a piece of foam board which I'm actually going to put in, is that way around or this way around? I'm going to put in here and just pin to the two, I'll put two dressmaking pins in underneath where the ends stand in those circles to hold this in place, so that as I'm doing all this messy dry brushing, none of it gets in the river. If I get a bit on this, it doesn't matter because I can just go over that with some of the shabby bone colour again. So this is an absolute MVP tonight. So yeah, I'm going to dry brush the hell out of that. I'm planning on using the guide in Quest of the Ringbearer. I think it's Rob Alderman's guide for painting Weathertop. I used this when I did my Forge World Weathertop and was really happy with the stone effects. So just for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to follow that guide. And I got my tester pots, which are these from my DIY store. I got these for Weathertop. So I've got all the right colours, so I'm just going to blast that, do all the cliffs. The plan is to do all the cliffs and the dam in the same colours, hopefully relatively quickly, and then I'm going to try and make the dam a slightly different colour. I'm going to colorise it a bit like they do in the issue. I can't remember what their colour scheme is, but hopefully you can see that the dam is a kind of slightly greenier colour, so I'm just going to try and chuck some washes onto that. They do Chaos Black, so that it's Bubonic Brown, then Codex Grey instead of Fortress Grey, instead of Black, Codex Grey and Fortress Grey. Classic B-Sime. So they just start from a there's no glazing on there, but they just start. Apparently, the difference between those cliff colours is that they just start from a brown base coat instead of a black base coat, which I don't really understand. I don't think that's right, but yeah, I'm going to try and emulate that by just chucking some kind of green, some Athenian camo shade or something like that onto them. So yeah, that's the main plan, which obviously has to be done. Other things that need to be done then, I then need to take this this tape off, which has been on here protecting it. I've got to get rid of that, and hopefully it will have done its job, and the frame will look alright underneath. Emma's beautifully made me a banner, as she always does, a bit of text that I need to stick onto there. and then it needs flocking, tufts putting down and flocking on it. I'm probably going to do that tomorrow. I'll check my list of doom for other things I have to do tonight. I've got those 2 support struts I showed you, which I need to glue in place up here. I need to paint beech rose leaves. Drives the crap out of the bad. No pippin, no down machinery. Fucking tufts. I need to paint the rims of the 2 Ents and put some flock and tufts on those. Can't forget that. And then I've got these. Remember that I showed you? I've got my water spouts, which I need to attach to it. And then finally, my last point here says destroy model collection by cutting bases off existing orcs to add to boards. I think I showed you that this morning, or last night, God knows. I have got some plastic orcs which I'm going to cut off and try and put on around here maybe. So we'll see. We'll see how we get on with that. That might be tomorrow. But yeah, it's a ton of work to do. It's 10 PM. I reckon I can go till about 2. I had this crazy idea about a week ago of having a nice, quiet, pleasant night of flocking and tufting tonight, but it's obviously not going to happen. But I'm just going to get stuck into it, and we'll see how we go. I might do an update at the end of the night, or you might see me tomorrow. Let's find out. I've got a glass of Rioja to get me through the dark times. Don't drink, kids. Actually, you know what? Don't try and build display boards in 8 days, kids. That's the problem. The wine's fine. So it turns out that wasn't the end of all things. This is the end of all things. It is now Friday morning. It is the day that we are heading to Throne of Skulls. And as you can see, some significant progress has been made. And another excellent hobby session last night. I want to thank Steve, my B-side buddy, who chatted to me for a couple of hours while we picked his army. So that was good fun. I was getting these cliffs done. As you can see, the cliffs have now been painted, the dam has been painted, the support struts are in, all that sort of thing. And then again, Rob Cron from the night before, I had another long chat with him in the early hours for me and the normal hours for him while I finished off the army. So it was really productive. The Ents are completely finished. All 7 of them now, their bases are done and they're all flocked and everything, so that was good. The support struts were finished upstairs and the orc casualties were finished off. I think that was everything. So painting is now done on everything. Paint is completely finished. I am heading off to Throne of Skulls today, but there's just a couple of things to do before we go. As you can see, it's got no texture, so I need to flock it and put some tufts down, all that sort of stuff, which, you know, it's not a small job, but it will hopefully be quite a fun, enjoyable one. I've also then got to attach the water spouts, glue them on, and then I said I was going to cut some of those orcs I've got up and glue them on. So it's basically just gluing a bunch of stuff to this now. So it's still a little bit of work, to be honest, but we're going to get there. I feel like the vlog will have a happy ending. So that's the plan, and I'm now going to crack on, and hopefully the next clip will be kind of summing up the video and heading off to Throne of Skulls. Huzzah! And with that, we're finished. It's a few hours later on Friday. It's been about 4 or 5 hours, I think, since I was recording this morning, and ta-da! The board is finished. We are complete. So I can relax, but I absolutely can't relax. I've got stuff to do. I wanted to make sure I came and celebrated and signed things off, essentially. So indeed, here it is in all its glory. I can't remember exactly where it was this morning, but all the static grass has been glued down, the tufts have been glued down, the orcs have been added to the board, the water jets have been added. And obviously the banner's been added. All the kind of final touches of texture have been done. I was really looking forward to this. I was hoping to have done all this stuff last night and have a very, very pleasant evening doing it, because it is the fun stuff. But I got to say, today's been horrible. It's not been fun. It's been horribly stressful, time consuming. I decided to add a load of orcs to the board. I think there are what have we got? 4, 6. We've got 8 on there, which should be a fun process to be honest, clipping them off the bases and positioning them, but it was just horrible. It was just a kind of another thing where you're watching the time tick down, and we're going to be leaving now far later than I wanted to originally. But it doesn't matter, it's done. And do you know what? I think it looks pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it all told, which is a bit of luck. But it's done. I didn't get my Pippin dismount breaking the fellowship finished, but who cares? He might not even ever get dismounted in the tournament, we don't know. And as I said, originally there was meant to be a piece of kind of balsa wood Isengard machinery up here, which I didn't get finished, but I don't think it takes away from it too much. I don't think we'll miss it. Everything else I think that I talked about, God knows, that was 3 weeks ago. Everything else I think I set up in that first little clip on the sofa, I think has been done. As you can see, the sofa's still here in terms of the room. I was recording it 3 weeks ago, but thinking we'll be happier. But all the stuff's gone, so I have kind of moved out of the space, but we haven't quite kind of painted the space yet. But yeah, so it's kind of half and half, I suppose, in that regard. But yeah, there we go. It's finished. The project's done, and I got it done, and now I get to pack it all up, put it in the car, and head off to pick up Jay Acharya, and then head up north. I'd love to tell you that I was excited about a big night of seeing people and drinking. If I'm brutally honest, I'm excited about having some dinner, having a drink or two, and then going and getting a nice long sleep. That's what I'm looking forward to. It'll be the most fun time for a celebratory shave, ready for the face paint to go on tomorrow. So these are sort of things you have to prepare for when you're going to sacrifice yourself on the altar of humiliation. But there we go, and the project's done. I'm off to Throne of Skulls. I'm super excited. I have no idea how they'll get on. There's 5 games. I won 2 out of 6 at Scarron of Cheshire. 2 out of 5 is 2 out of 5 wouldn't be bad. If I get 3 out of 5, I'll be delighted, I think. But yeah, 2 out of 5 events at a Swiss rank tournament. That can't be bad, can it? I'm excited to see what they can do. I'm excited to see everyone. I'm buzzing for the event. It's been a really tough 3 weeks. It's been a tough last week. The last week, all the shed based stuff has been really hard. But I think on the whole, the 3 weeks has been cool, and I'm proud of what I've done. I like my Ent conversions, and I like the display board, so I guess that probably means it was worth it. But there we go. And that's it. I'm off to Throne of Skulls, and we'll see how the Ents get on, and I'll probably catch up on that on the next live stream, I suppose. Assuming you see this before the next live stream, but who the hell knows when I'll be able to edit this. But there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this journey. I think it's probably about an hour, maybe just over an hour. It's really hard to tell when you're recording all the clips over 3 weeks, but we'll see. I hope it's given you something to paint along to, and it's a bit different. And I hope you've enjoyed following the progress of the Ents over the last 3 weeks. Until next time, we'll see you next time on Battle Streams in Middle Earth. Well, I'm back. Hello! Yeah, I am back from Throne of Skulls. I did consider, when I filmed the last bit, I was thinking, maybe I've enjoyed this process so much, I might actually do a tournament review like we used to on the GBHL and sort of go through the games. And ultimately I just thought, I'm kidding myself if I think I've got time to do that. So I thought what I would instead do is just do a little epilogue at the end of this video to talk briefly about Throne of Skulls. Yeah, back from the weekend, and in short, it was amazing. It was everything. Battles in Middle Earth was everything Throne of Skulls should be. It was brilliant. I loved every second of it, and I had an absolute blast. As you can see, I've got my board, which I think you'll have seen on Friday, kind of here, and I've also brought my little companions for the weekend of Merry and Pip from my costume, just to dress the background a little bit. But yeah, it was absolutely awesome. So you saw me on Friday having just finished. I got off to a delayed start, went and picked Jay up, and we ended up leaving at 5 instead of 2. But we had a really good journey up, and met with some people, went out for dinner on Friday, which was awesome. Met with Steve, my B-sign buddy, and we were sharing a room for the weekend. So that was absolutely awesome. And then Saturday begins, and Steve did a banging job of painting my face. I'm going to put some photos up. I'm sure a lot of you by this point will have seen the costume on Facebook, but the costume was brilliant. I want to say a huge thanks, in case they ever watch this, to my mum and Emma, who contributed an awful lot. Emma in particular doing the clothes for the Hobbits, and my mum who did a lot of the kind of stitching on the tree parts of the costume. It was great, and then Steve did a brilliant job on the face paint. So it was awesome to walk into Warhammer World and see their efforts get a big round of applause essentially, and lots of lovely comments about the costume. So I'm pleased I went all out as ever for Throne of Skulls. Then we had our first game and I played Ed Barfield, which I was delighted about. I've never played Ed. He's one of the most enthusiastic people in the world, one of the most enthusiastic hobbyists in the world, and he was the spare player which I got drawn against, and I couldn't have been happier. He had the Rise of the Necromancer Legion, and we had an awesome game of Destroy the Supplies, which was good for both of us because we didn't have many models each, it could have been bad against a big army, but it was actually a fairly good matchup, and it was really good fun. Lots of exciting elements in that. I managed to chuck 2 rocks at the Necromancer and take 12 fate off him, which was brilliant. But I managed to get a win. In the end of that, I managed to destroy. It was a minor win. I managed to destroy Ed's supplies, 3 of them, and I think he only destroyed two of mine. I think he destroyed 2 of mine. So there was 6-4 there. Maybe some break in the lead points, but I didn't double his VP, so I didn't get a major win. So it was brilliant. And then after lunch, I played. Oh God, who was game 2? I can now picture every game except game 2. It was Andy Barlow, of course. Andy Barlow was of 151 Goblin Town Goblins, which was amazing. They were all painted up for it. He'd done another, I think he painted 170 all told because he'd painted some for the reinforcements. Absolutely brilliant. This was Assassination, and I was terrified to play it. But then, as it turned out, the way everything deployed, he can't hide his goblins, and he basically just had 8 rows of goblins. So when they charged 7 Ents, the Ents start hurling, and all manner of madness ensues. And I think I killed 29 models in turn 1, 26 models in turn 2, and then 1 model in turn 3 when the goblins fought back. But over the course of the game, I killed 120 goblins. I was the person who killed. He was keeping track. I was the person who killed the most goblins throughout the tournament of his army. So he bought me a pint at the end for winning that little challenge, which was super cool and a nice bonus. But yeah, it was Assassination. I picked Beachbone to kill Grinner, and he killed Grinner to pick Beachbone to kill Beachbone, which worked out well. So at one point he charged Grinner into Beachbone, and I counted my lucky stars as Beachbone squished Grinner, and so got the win there. But it was so much fun. It was absolutely tons and tons of fun. Really nice to see someone playing like Goblin Town and showing that they don't have to be a kind of filthy, annoying army. They can just be loads and loads and loads of fun. But yeah, I killed 120 models, and we reckon about 100 of them were from hurling. So yeah, it was lots of fun, and fair play to Andy for playing it in such good spirits as his models just got knocked down all throughout the game. It was brilliant. And then the final game of the day was against Dean Broadway, and I played the Legion of the Necromancer again, or the Rise of the Necromancer Legion again, which was cool. I played it once, and this time it was whole ground, and again it was another brilliant game. I never played Dean, so on day 1 was 3 people I'd never played, which was absolutely awesome. And it was great, really interesting tactical game. The nature of the Ents being really resilient, and the Nazgul constantly coming back. I mean, we went the distance. We went the full 2.5 hours, and it was really tough mentally, and I was knackered by the end of it. I was also extremely hot in the costume and everything. I think I was a bit worn out. It was a great game, again played in really good spirits, and right at the end I made a terrible mistake in the final turn where I tried to barge people off the I tried to hurl people off the objectives instead of killing them, and I definitely, by doing that, I'm sort of 70-80%. I had an 80% chance of securing a draw that I threw away, and maybe if I killed enough I might have even broken him and won. So it was proper mental fatigue, and I was just like, I'm not match fit, not used to playing these games anymore, and I made a mistake there, so got a major loss. I got a major win against Andy and a major loss against Dean, but another great game, really good game to end the day on, and really loved it. Then we went to Bugman's and we had a bit of food, which is nice. Had the seminar where they showed us off the new Orc models, which was super cool, and the silhouette of the thingy, whatever that's going to be. Could it be an Emperor of Dragons? Who knows? And then there was the Green Dragon quiz, which was awesome. Trokey came down, which was great. Original quiz team, awesome quiz member, so it was great to play that with him and see him for a bit, as well as the rest of our team. And we put in an admirable effort. I think we came 3rd, but we were off first by about 5 points. So congrats to the winners there. And then we went back to the bar, had some drinks in the hotel, which was awesome, lovely, and then went off to bed. Me and Steve for our traditional cup of tea in bed, and a little bit of a debrief because I didn't actually see much of him during the day. And off we went to sleep. Next day, woke up, wonderful times again. Steve did a banging job. We improved the face paint. He was like, I think I can do better than that this time, which is funny to see him really getting into that side of things. And then headed back to Warhammer World, And my first game was against James Wilson, which is awesome. James Wilson's been to, seen him at loads of tournaments over the years. He comes to Seven Stones quite a lot, but I'd never played him against. My fourth opponent, who I'd never played before, which was wicked. And James had a Fiefdoms and Rohan and Gondor alliance, and it was divide and conquer. When you start in opposite corners, and so basically what happened in that was Eomer's warband was down here, and Imrahil and Aragorn's warband was up here, and my Ents were here, so I went for this one. I tried to gank Eomer's warband and was able to do quite well there and kind of get rid of some of the Rohan, and then I just got lucky with Aragorn and was able to barge into him at one point and did well against him, bet big on it, got very lucky on the rolls and killed Aragorn in turn 2, and at that point we then had a game in our hands. Didn't mean I was going to win it, but if he still has Aragorn with Anduril, he's just chopping up an Ent every turn, which is no fun for me, but because I took Aragorn out, it then, about 45 minutes in, we suddenly kind of started a new game. You know, it was this kind of, alright, well now we've got a game, let's see what can happen. And it was great, it was really, really good fun. Again, incredibly tactical, really, really interesting. Trying to figure out how I can try and use 7 models to hold 3 objectives and those kind of things. But the big MVP on there is Barge. I think the Brutal Power Attack, to be able to move models away from objectives. And what I was able to do, I realised that I don't necessarily need that many more models because my bases are so big that I can keep his models off it. And so I ended up doing that and just surging onto the central objective and barging the models off, and then being able to use the 60mm bases to ensure that the 25mm bases couldn't get within 3 inches of the centre. And then completely kind of against the run of play and very unexpectedly I managed to win that. I really wasn't expecting to win, divide and conquer with 3 objectives with 7 models against Aragorn, Imrahil and Eomer. But yeah, I just got lucky, and brilliant game, really, really, really interesting, really fascinating tactically. I loved using the Ents for this sort of thing. I might say that after the next game. But it was really fun working out what they could do. And so I managed to get another major win. And I think I'd gone into it going, if I get 3 out of 5 wins, I will consider it a job very well done. I think I got 2 wins out of 6 at Scaring of Cheshire, so I was like, well, that would be great. And then so I went into the final game and I played Stephen McDonald, who I have played before. He was the only person I played before, but I only played him for the first time at Scaring of Cheshire. So there were 5 people that prior to November I'd never played before, which was awesome. And I played Stephen with my Ents at Scaring of Cheshire, and he beat me. So it was cool to get a chance for revenge. Now I had some more Ent friends along. And we played Lords of Battle, which obviously going into it I was like, okay, this one favours the Ents, this is good. They're resilient, they don't have many points to give away, and there's lots of stuff, and Stephen had a lot of models, so I kind of just charged in. It was still dangerous. He had Boromir, Hurin, Forlong and Elfhelm, so lots of heroes, lots of striking, and he did kind of get all 3 of them onto one Ent at one point, kill it, heroic combat off into another one. But Treebeard was heroic for me. Treebeard kind of fought off Boromir an awful lot. He was on borrowed time. Stephen got unlucky with his rolls and with strike offs and things like that. I had a lot of fun in that bludgeoning. That game I got to bludgeon like you dream about bludgeoning, but never really happens. Which was I was able to pick up Forlong and bludgeon 4 other models with him and kill Forlong. I was also able to pick up Hurin and bludgeon 3 other models and kill Hurin. And I was able to pick up Elfhelm and bludgeon him. I think I only did a wound on him, I only killed 1. But it was that kind of idea that you dream about picking up a hero and bludgeon him to death, but it very rarely comes off. But it happened like 3 times in that game. So that was super fun. And again, incredibly tactical. Lots of the way we were trying to deal with each other's heroes, and I was trying to stop this kind of, Boromir going on a complete murderous rampage and killing everything. It was, which is a tough thing to do. But they held on, and I kind of raced ahead. And what I was worried about, I wasn't really worried about having less kills because I knew the Ents were going to do so much damage. But I was worried about being wiped out essentially and losing on that. But the Ents held on and eventually took Boromir down, and I managed to get a major victory. So somehow it was a brilliant game against Stephen. This is what I was saying about James, that I was just fascinated. I feel like I've learnt how to use Ents, because it's really interesting seeing what you can do. Obviously Hurl is great and Bludgeon's great, but Barge is the real game changer of being able to get your Ents into good positions and to help each other and to save each other. There was a lot of times where Boromir was fighting Treebeard and Treebeard was trapped, and I'd actually barge with one Ent and barge that Ent into Boromir to kind of save Treebeard and take Boromir off, knowing that Boromir is very unlikely to one-turn an Ent. And so that kind of stuff, having this kind of, you can hurl into your own combats to save your guys, and you can barge into combats to save guys. That kind of slight redundancy gives you a lot of tactical options, which I think is really, really good. So yeah, that was that. So I had 5 amazing games. So thank you all so much to my opponents. They were brilliant. I loved them. When you have to, I won't say who I voted for, but when you had to decide at the end who your favourite game could be and who your favourite army was, it could have been any of them. It was really, really tough trying to pick them, because they were 5 brilliant games. It's what I dream about, a Throne of Skulls. It was absolutely wonderful. So thanks to those guys so much. With that, we all packed up and waited for the award ceremony, and obviously there's no point denying it. Knowing that I was on 4 wins, I knew I was in somewhere in the mix. Like 4 wins out of 5 is pretty good, and you're hopeful perhaps of getting some best army and best sporting votes. So I was very, very pleasantly surprised. So on a gaming front, well done to the Ents. Huge, good work, boys. Good work. They kind of really did the job for me. So yeah, Ents OP maybe, who knows. But we all sat down for the award ceremony, and I was beyond delighted to win Best Painted Warband for my Ents, which was super cool. Can we pop that up there? Is that going to work? I never win the painting awards at Warhammer World, but I entered Bernie into the single monster, and I entered
Treebeard and his Ents into the Warband category.
Sorry about that, battery just died. Yes, I think I'd managed to say that I was chuffed to get the win with the Ents. I think it's one of those things where I think people voted for the conversions, to be honest, because what was it? Treebeard, it was the Beachbone conversion, Phil was normal, it was the Douglas the Dambuster conversion with the sticks, and it was the Thrill-Ent conversion. So I think people like to see different things, and I think it was the conversions rather than paint jobs, because the paint jobs, are just kind of easy dry brushing. But it was really lovely. So thanks to whoever voted for that. That was a really nice bonus. I wasn't expecting that. I'd also been absolutely delighted to get a Best Army nomination on the Sunday morning, which is kind of why I go to Throne of Skulls. I put everything in. For the last 3 years I've put everything into the Dead of Dunharrow and the Bag End board and this one, and I do it to try and win Best Army. I think that's what I was going for. I never thought this year I was gonna win Best Army. I think because it's not. I didn't think I'd done enough really, but I was hoping for a nomination with the conversions and everything, and I was delighted when I did get a nomination. Hooray! So that was cool to pick that up. So I was really delighted, and I always feel this kind of sense of relief. You've been with me throughout the last probably hour or so on this video, going through the hell that I went through to kind of get everything done. So when you get that nomination, there is this huge sense of relief. So all the nominees gathered, and there was some spectacular stuff on display, and I was super mega delighted to get 3rd place. Whoa, is that way around? No, it is that way around. I got 3rd place. So I got this lovely glass statue. This is super cool. I remember they did this in 2019, I think, for the first time. They started giving out nice awards, trophies for 2nd and 3rd place. So I was well chuffed with that. So that's well done to the Ents. The Ents have picked up 3rd place in Best Army, and I'm mega chuffed for that. So well done, boys. You really turned up, and congratulations to, I think, James Crawford, who got, I think it's Crawford, apologies if I got that wrong, who won Best Army with his stunning kind of Isengard Dunland army, and to Tom Thorpe, who won the Judge's Choice Award, which was a cool new thing they'd done with his Thorin's Company, which I thought was absolutely beautiful, and got one of my votes. Really nice this year. You could vote for 2 Best Armies, which I thought was a nice way of doing it. Kind of matches the Throne of Skull scoring system, where you get to vote for your 2 best painted army, 2 favourite armies and 2 favourite games. So I thought that was really cool. So that was that, and then we gathered for the main event. The results. And 3rd place was Sam Devonish, who I met after the event, which was really nice to meet him. He also won Most Sporting, got all 5 favourite game votes, which is awesome. Well done, sir. In 2nd place, the Ents took home the silver, which was awesome. I was delighted. So yeah, indeed, 2nd place came up and I got there. So I missed out on the top spot. More on that in a second. But I've maintained my 3-year record of podiuming at Throne of Skulls. So I am beyond chuffed. Can this go here? Is that going to fit? I'm going to go there. There you go. I am beyond delighted to pick up another ring statue. It was just awesome. I've done exactly what I did in 2019, which was go to Throne Skulls with an army with no hopes of winning. I took 7 Ents. I didn't think they'd win any. I didn't think they'd win many games at all, let alone win enough to kind of podium. And they've really come through for me. And I don't know. It validates my feelings about Throne Skulls. Which, if you want to do well at Throne Skulls, don't try and do well at Throne Skulls. Just take something you love and go nuts on it. I've been painting Ents all year, and I was really excited to use them. So I built them a board, and I dressed like a tree, and good things happen. So yeah, I'm beyond chuffed, and I was delighted. And the winner was Calman! Oh yes, Calman Steele's right. Who's an amazing player and is more commonly seen winning the competitive events, but he's also a spectacularly good human being. And he had taken the Champions Variable. He's a dwarf through and through, but he'd taken the Champions Variable. All of them, which is 1,000 points, which I love because that's such a Throne Skulls army. I took normal Thrones Company 2 years ago. I think Thrones Company is super cool. Not optimised, but much better than you might think. Particularly something like Throne Skulls, where maybe the field you're playing against is, you know, competitively a little weaker or something. But Cal also won 4 games, and and then he picked up loads and loads of favourite game votes. So I was delighted. You know, obviously, there's no point denying it. Obviously, disappointed to miss out on the top spot there. But if someone else has got to win it, couldn't be happy for Cal. He's a really good mate of mine. And I was delighted to see him take it, and he looked genuinely shocked as well when he won it, which was awesome. Which is kind of what you want, I think, in the winner there. What was really fun was when Jay came over to us and told us the results, and we had both won 4 games and lost 1. We had both got 4 favourite game votes, and we had both got 4 favourite army votes. And what decided it was that my loss was a minor loss. No, my loss was a major loss, and Cal's loss was a minor loss, and that was 1 tournament point. I think I got 1 for a minor loss, and Cal got 2 for a. I got 1 for a major loss, and Cal got 2 for a minor loss, and that's what separated us. So the tiniest of tiny margins. So obviously you kind of go, part of you goes, oh God, if I hadn't lost to Dean, if I hadn't made that mistake, then I could have won. But no, for 'tis the butterfly effect. And if I hadn't had that loss to Dean, I wouldn't have then played James, I wouldn't have played Stephen, and I probably wouldn't have got 2 major victories. So we can't crumble. But we're not going to grumble with second place. I was delighted. It was a cracking weekend. I absolutely loved it. I loved every second of it. So thank you so much to all my opponents. And thank you to all the staff who put it on and ran what was an absolutely brilliant event. I loved it. It's my favourite event in the calendar, and I already can't wait for next year. I'm just going to say, last night I was Googling some fancy dress ideas, so preparations have begun. So that is it. That is truly the end of all things. I think this is going to be a fairly long video all told. I think we're probably going to be maybe at the 1.5 hour mark. I truly don't know. But I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's given you some company while you're painting, and it's something a bit different for battle streams. But that's it. I don't know when we'll do the next one of these type of things. It might be for Throne Skulls next year, who knows. But hopefully you've enjoyed it. And we will see you very soon in the next live stream on Battle Streams in Middle Earth. Take care.